All right. Uh, this is gonna be a different kind of video for FNAF fan games, or at least one in particular, which is Fazbear Tycoon, which is not out yet. It's being made by Undead Army 1987 over on GameJolt, and when I first found this GameJolt page, I saw that there is something else, which is something called FISA. Now, I don't understand what this is. The only description that there is the archive must be complete. And back when I first started following this game, it said something about the fact that the description said that this couldn't be removed, and so I was like, I couldn't tell if that I didn't do a lot of research into it. It was just something I was keeping an eye on, but I couldn't tell if that was genuine, like someone hacked the GameJolt page and now they couldn't remove that tab from their GameJolt page, or if that was one of those things where it's like we can't remove it, but it's like, but like in a game sense, like it's part of it. And so I wanted to check it out. I wanted to see what this actually has, if it has anything. I don't know. I mean, there is videos on it, so I'm gonna try and kind of see what's going on here. So first off, here we have an input password, and there's like the developer has put a lot of passwords that have already been found, and they're in the right order, so I want to see what happens. So the first password here is Charlotte, which makes sense. In this case, this is
Fazbear Entertainment Security Archive.
oh, that's what FISA. Okay, I had a feeling FISA stand for Fazbear Entertainment Security. Didn't know what A it was. Archive. All right. Whoa, that's creepy. Stop it. That was creepy. Okay. So Charlotte is Henry's daughter. We know this. So makes sense if this is Fazbear Entertainment, I guess this is maybe something that would be on Henry's computer. Possibly. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of things. And so oh, wow, that's Springtrap. Alright. Fazbear's Frights owner email. Animatronic unit involved, unknown. Yeah, I don't blame you. This document's purpose is to archive any known messages between two individuals that we don't know. It's been redacted during the time of the activity of the attraction known as Fazbear's Fright. So this was anything that was not been documented. This was all going to Henry, which makes sense. And then here you have what we have. It seems like some sort of email, possibly. It says Fazbear Fright's owner email. So here we have it saying, hey dude, how are you? Thanks for taking a night shift. I know that place can get pretty spooky. They found a name for the little monster and they called them Springtrap. So I guess not. So I guess this, because I completely didn't think about it, but when now I think about this, I think Springtrap was just was a name, I'm assuming, that was found in like the files, right? I think I don't know. I mean, all right, I'm not entirely sure. I don't even remember how the name Springtrap came to be. Now that I think about it, but I guess in this case, if this isn't what it actually is in the FNAF lore, again, I don't know. I highly doubt it. But it seems here that the owner has named this guy Springtrap, which is kind of creepy. Are they saying that they took this animatronic out, which essentially has a human body in it, and they didn't notice? Okay. They said, pretty cool, right? It took like 2 seconds to make the name. I mean, it is a pretty basic name. It's fitting, don't you think? Anyway, about what you said in your last email, thanks for letting us know. If you can, could you get some footage of him walking around? We were thinking we could set up some screens around the attraction and fool people into thinking that Springtrap is coming towards them to raise the spook factor, You and I are the only ones with keys to the place, so there is no way he's getting out. We are still setting the place up, so there are a lot of loose wires hanging around, and Springtrap is quite broken looking himself. So could you make sure he doesn't go damaging any of the equipment? Like I told you the other day, fires are a real concern here, so we gotta be careful. If you don't have any idea how to stop our little monster, one of the tech guys said that those animatronics would just go into the room with the most noise. Alright, and you talk about using the audio system, so a lot of this deals with, like that is specifically a mechanic from FNAF 3, having what sounds like Balloon Boy saying, hello, don't know why I had to make that voice, but and then that was the reason why Springtrap would go there, right? Because even though Afton was in control, he couldn't control the animatronic. The suit essentially, it's like, I think at this point the suit's in animatronic mode, so the suit forcibly, moves him to those locations. So that's interesting, and that is a very creepy portrait. That's very cool. So that's basically, I guess, some of the FNAF origins, right? Missing individuals is... Ooh. Alright, so we have another password here. Now, it says file passwords in the right order. I don't know if this is in the right order, so I'm gonna try. In this order, father would be the next password, maybe. Wow, that is... okay. That's creepy. You can literally... Oh, that's so... You can literally see his skull. This is going to be a lot of reading, I'm assuming. Like, a lot of this is, like, archive reading, so I'm probably not going to make this super long. I just want to get a vibe for what kind of... What's the environment we're going to be dealing with in this game, possibly. So, on the 13th of September 2026, a team of 3 independent filmmakers were reported missing in Hurricane, Utah after a week's absence from their college classes. We have names Courtney, Kevin, and Edward, who are working on an assignment based on investigating and proving validity to many urban myths and legends of the state of Utah, and with a particular interest in the urban legend known as the Utah Hairman, with Kevin's final journal entries stating their intent to film a documentary in the sewer systems in the search of the Hairman. I just realized what the hell Hairman is supposed to mean. Hair as in like bunny, Springtrap's a bunny animatronic, and there's bodies have yet to be recovered. So here's what I'm interested about, right? We have animatronic unit involved. Him. Descriptions of the Utah Hairman match that of him, right? So is this report being filled by Henry? Because at this point, right, Henry would know. At this point, Henry knows Springtrap is William Afton. So I think that's what he means by him. 6 weeks after the initial incident, a sewer maintenance worker assigned to unblock a drainage pipe recovered a severed hand. DNA analysis of the hand revealed that the hand was that of Courtney, and it can only be assumed that all 3 missing persons are dead. A disposable camera belonging to Kevin, which was heavily damaged, was also found, and though the photographs were difficult to recover, this one image was restored. Wow, literally, this is literally like 5 seconds before absolute disaster struck. Oh, okay, so I'm glad it's not just reading. I'm curious. Let's see this.
It's him. He survived the fire and has been out there all this time, hunting, claiming more souls and destroying more lives. I should have known it was him as soon as I heard about this Utah Hairman thing. People say those boys were lost to the storm, but they're wrong. I'm one of the only people, maybe the only person, who bears the curse of knowing the truth. The man who found the hand said that the only way it could have gotten there is if somebody placed it there, deliberately. And he's right. He is taunting me. Even after so long, he knows I'm watching. I need to stop him. I know where he is. And he doesn't have the backing he used to. I have the advantage. I missed my opportunity back in '85. I'm not missing it again. It's him. He survived the fire and has been out there all this time.
Alright, so that's the end of that. So I wonder what he means by he had an opportunity in '85. I wonder if that's something that we're going to listen more about earlier. Next password is eject. Interesting. So I guess father makes sense in that one case because it's referring to Henry. So here we have an unknown animatronic figure sighting, which is kind of what is that even supposed to be? It's clearly a Freddy model. but we have what looks like claws, not claws, but like some sort of a like tentacle type objects on its back. A large figure spotted near the end of a gate of a large scrapyard, seemingly foraging for parts. It was reported to police in 2026. It was gathering what seemed to be old knives, scrap sheets of metal, and other various objects. It appeared to consist of rusty wires and a loosely put together outer casing, using lots of broken items and junk for bulking on the arms and torso. The person stated that the collection of parts convulsed and started writhing at random moments, specifically when looking at lights. It also emitted horrendous scraping and squeakish noises as it moved around. The person that reported the entity managed to go undetected by the creature, leaving us clueless as to whether it's hostile or not. And then we have an update saying that a new sighting of what is supposedly the same creature has been reported in Utah. So they were looking for a bunch of like parts of scrap. They found parts of a small doll, and they reached to pull it out, and then there was a screech, and the junk heap began to move. He was digging into the back of this animatronic creature. Yikes. That's not a good move. It turned around, and I was staring into the eyes of a metal face that can only be described as something straight out of a horror film. I was so focused on its face that I didn't see the giant fist of trash swinging towards me. It tried attacking him. He turned on his flashlight, and it flinched and screamed in pain. I took a chance and I ran, and I didn't stop running until I got to the police station, and well, that's all I got. Alright, so this might be a new character, to be honest, or maybe it's just a new iteration of Freddy. What the hell is that? I was just giving a friend a little helping hand. And then it's from L. I don't know anyone by the name of L. I don't know any character with the name. The only thing that comes close is Lefty, but that's pretty much it. So, September 8th, 2026, in the early morning hours, a break-in occurred at Fazbear Entertainment's main storage warehouse in Nevada. All security and cleaning staff were either missing or deceased. All recovered bodies show signs of extended exposure to upwards 25,000 volts of electricity, with their bodies being charred and burned beyond recognition. And so they found that one of the storage units were broken into and decommissioned, and parts of Stargaze Foxy and Stargaze Ballora, aka Funtime Foxy and Ballora, were missing. It is to be believed that subjects A2 and A4A, Funtime Foxy and Ballora, have separated from the remnant amalgamation, Ennard, that escaped Circus Baby's entertainment and rental, and broke into the warehouse to attain a new animatronic body to inhabit. Interesting. So we know that at the time, right, after FNAF 6, right, we know that everyone except Baby was part of the amalgamation, which eventually led to Molten Freddy, right? And so now it seems as though possibly Funtime Foxy and Ballora managed to somehow survive, and they created a new amalgamation. Curiously, at the same time of the incident, an unknown third party corrupted all the security footage. The only intact content inside the folder where the CCTV recordings were kept was a text folder containing one word: LOL. The leading theory is that during the break-in, the warehouse's security systems were subjected to a cyber attack. They launched multiple server-wide scans for viruses and signs of sabotage, but no results. And it's still unknown who or what was behind the cyber attack and whether it's connected to the break-in. This is going to be a long recording for sure, though. We have Lefty Unit 002 testing logs. So maybe this is before... This is like the testing that led to Lefty being deployed. Yes, yep. But this is basically when Henry was testing Lefty to go and retrieve the puppet. So we got... The dates varied, but this date, right, is over a certain number of days, right? This document is archived recordings of testing logs on Lefty Unit 002. Interesting that they say Unit 002, which suggests to me that maybe there was, or maybe because Lefty Unit 002 is meant to be like a Puppet 2.0 sort of unit, maybe. Details same as previous tests. So what were the results? It captured a target without incident and returned to base. Once the unit shut down, it released its grip on the target and unlocked its containment hatch, allowing the target to escape. So now this password is a bit of a weird one. It could be because it's a patient file. So it's interesting because it's like they're expanding upon the lore of already what's existing. What in the world is that? Alright, so this was a Fazbear Entertainment suit performer, expired one. In 1999, retired suit performer Mark was admitted to the psychiatric hospital after being discovered in his home in a state of psychosis, repeating the phrases, "I wore the suit, I wore the skin of death, can't say his name, I see him everywhere," and "No lights. If there are lights, there are shadows." He kept mentioning a figure that only he could see, a tall, looming black rabbit made of pure blackness. When asked what this figure's name was, he began to violently scream in sheer panic and terror. And at one point, he pissed himself out of pure fear. Under normal circumstances, FISA would not document these events, but there are too many coincidences to leave to simple chance. We got new members of the band. Candy. That's an interesting one. New members of the band. No animatronic unit involved. Following a string of unfortunate incidents and unsuccessful court battles over several years, popular children's restaurant and longtime competitor of Fazbear Entertainment, Candy's Burgers and Fries, was purchased by Fazbear Entertainment. Robotics Corp, the owner of Candy's Burgers and Fries, was in severe financial trouble. So interesting. So they bought. Well, I think that's what the Candy's establishment is actually called. I'm not entirely sure though about that. This purchase was only a few months following the acquisition of another popular competitor. Interesting. Especially considering, I think, it's funny because I believe at one point Fazbear Entertainment also acquired, in the Jolly story, I think Fazbear Entertainment acquired Jolly's at one point. Though Fazbear Entertainment and Robotics Corp have been longtime rivals, we now prioritize the memories made by the children to come to our establishments. Now this time we have Guardian. This is going to be a long video to edit. So here's the message, no animatronic unit involved. This is meant to archive a message made by Henry Emily on the 3rd of November 2025, and we don't know to who. If you are reading this, then you have come into recent contact with me under my request, and you know the details of blah blah blah, and all items and actions it relates to. This program and plan was known as Paragraph 4. To put a long story short, Paragraph 4 has failed. We are now detecting the activation and reappearance of multiple other entities whose existences we are now unaware of. We are now calling both of you to follow the instructions. If you still want to work with me to make things right, meet me there on the 14th at 3:15. If you choose not to appear, then I understand completely and wish you the best of wishes and whatever you do with the rest of your life. What I'm understanding here is that this program and plan was known as Paragraph 4, and they're saying it's failed, which backs everything that I was saying earlier about whether, like seeing Funtime Foxy and Ballore come together, they managed to survive, which means that other characters may have survived as well, and Henry is aware of this, and he's trying to meet with two people specifically. The question is, who are those two people? Investigation that's going on. So this one's a number this time, 1280. cloaked figure, numerous days unknown animatronic. Multiple reports note a skeletal creature draped in scraps and adorning a crimson-lined mask. They don't know if it connects to Fazbear Entertainment, an oddly popular entity compared to many others. With whole websites dedicated to documenting every tale it is said to be involved in. Interesting. For our purposes, the most notable instance involves a video taken by a soon-to-be-retired security system between 2 and 3 in the morning. So this is a Fazbear Worldwide Initiative announcement. Personal note. We need to keep track of which characters are produced and which one are active entities. We don't want to redact it all over again just because we confused a malfunctioning unit with an entity. There's like a lot of talking, so it's kind of I'm like messing up a lot. I haven't had to do so much talking. So yikes. There's like some weird reverb now on this file. And it is... Oh, I can hear it. Oh, okay. This is gonna get serious. Alright. So this is December... Wow. Christmas 2016. The bodies of Police Sergeant Gerald, Lieutenants Harry and Simon, and Deputy Bradley were discovered at Laurel Police Department, Laurel, Montana, after being snowed in for several days following an incredibly brutal, week-long blizzard. Post-mortem on the bodies revealed heavy blunt force trauma to the victims' skulls and chests and severe lacerations. Simon's corpse in the PD's ventilation system completely skinned. The recovery team found the shredded, degloved skin in the garbage alongside Bradley's remains, with them sustaining damage matching from the former described. Gerald was found beside the emergency exit and Harry within a toilet cubicle. What the hell? Among the staff trapped within the PD on the incident, Deputy Raymond was one. Miraculously, they were found laying face down in the snow 50 meters away, alive. He was rushed to Billings Clinic Hospital and in care for 2 weeks, showing extreme hypothermia and frostbite symptoms, and he was interrogated once he was in stable condition. When they interrogated Raymond, he described a large metallic mass of wires wearing one of his colleagues' skins as a disguise and murdering his co-workers. I think that's Ennard. It's the only thing that can make sense. Ennard's the only one that has ever worn someone's skin, right? Like Michael. He's the only one that was ever able to be inside a person's body. Once Raymond was fit and healthy enough to be admitted from the hospital, he was put on trial for first-degree murder. Of course, they didn't believe him. He was later stated unfit to stand trial, and he was admitted to the mental institute for several years, and then he later lost his life. And he was transferred to Utah as well beforehand, but he eventually died, and they never said what he died to. Upon investigating Raymond's claims, Fazbear Entertainment launched a covert investigation, and they discovered that Funtime Foxy, Funtime Freddy, and Bon Bon respectively, as well as A4A, A4B, A4C, and A4D, Ballora, and Mini Arena's remnant signatures were detected within and around the building. The leading theory is that following the breach at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, the remnant amalgamation consisting of the Ennard basically traveled north towards Montana when they were caught in a blizzard, which is when they went to the Laurel PD's ventilation system, killing everyone. And then they eventually wore Simon as a disguise, akin to the method they used to escape Circus Babies earlier on. Eventually, the other officers caught on to what was occurring, and the remnant amalgamation slaughtered the others, Raymond being the sole survivor. Wow. And then here you have pretty much Raymond's entire synopsis. If you want to read that, you can. I'm just going to have it like this so you can read through it, and I'm just going to read it on my own. That's creepy. Stuff would mysteriously disappear and reappear in other places. Something like that would just terrify me if I noticed that happening, especially if you're snowed in, because it makes me, because like someone's here and we don't know. Simon went on a crazy rant about how he saw something looking at him from inside one of the vents, a small pair of eyes looking down on him. Oh no, that is so creepy. So Simon went to investigate the vents, I'm assuming, on the sixth night, and he was gone for half an hour, and when he came back he was just silent. He just lay on the sofa and went back to sleep. The banging had stopped. When morning came, we woke to the smell of death. As soon as I stepped into the garage, I was hit by the most disgusting, most foul-smelling odor one could imagine. It didn't take a bloodhound to tell you where the smell was coming from. As soon as our attention was drawn, a ventilation grate was loose off its hinges, drenched in blood. As soon as our attention was drawn to it, Simon, or whatever the hell that thing was, began to wriggle and writhe. And it let out this ear-piercing screech and just shed Simon off of it. A large, massive entanglement of wires and eyeballs. It was horrifying. Wow. That's creepy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, so, wow. As if FNAF's lore wasn't already dark enough as it is, and now we're adding more to it. So this password is suffer. I'm getting worried. These are getting. Ooh. Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Everyone is here. So the purpose of this document is to report a strange, anomalous geographical phenomena in Utah. A large bottomless hole located on the property of the late William Afton, around 15 meters in width and length. The surrounding area, which was normally a rich, lively forest, was now burnt beyond recognition. The house was pretty much almost obliterated at that point. All that remained was a few burnt boards, burnt furniture, and blueprints about scrapped and failed experiments that the owner of the house intended to work on. The anomaly seems to have unique traits that range from odd and uncommon to bizarre and paranormal. And this one trait is the constant secretion of a strange, dark, gas-like substance that can only be seen by viewing on a remnant detection lens. And even using that makes it difficult to notice the substance. So, at 12 a.m. in 2026, a 6.0 magnitude earthquake was reported to have been felt. An hour later, the earthquake stopped, and some locals searched the woods looking for the source, after hearing a deep, low rumble in the general area. An hour after that, authorities were called in. They explored the area leading to the Afton household, and they stuck around for a bit and heard the deep rumbling sound again, along with voices, a few of sworn voices. An hour later, the authorities made note of a slight cracking sound, and the temperature was getting warmer, despite it being a cool night outside. An hour after that, the cracking sound started to get louder, and the temperature was rising. Few authorities decided to leave, and one passed out due to heat stroke. 5 a.m. The cracking sound became even louder, and witnesses began to notice that the house's foundation was shifting. The heat was becoming intolerable, so they left a few cameras behind to record and leave. 6 a.m. The ground begins to shift, and the surrounding area was detected to be experiencing another earthquake at 7.3 magnitude. Oddly enough, the quake was detected to only be surrounding the Afton home. The ground began to open up, and a hole appeared, causing most of the house to fall into the hole. Flames began to erupt from the hole, and a loud screeching sound was heard, along with the distant chiming of a clock. A giant figure begins to crawl out of the hole. What the hell? After a few minutes after recording ended, a ginormous forest fire. So apparently, another reason why this came into the archive is because after all those events and investigations began, the area was noted to be filled with broken, burnt remains of many various units from multiple generations from Fazbear Entertainment's history. What the hell? What in the world is that? This is a redacted animatronic. It looks a lot like a Balloon Boy or Balloon Girl animatronic. 1982. What if this is her debut? Yeah, we've decided to go with a more recognizable face, a human one. She reminds me of the animatronic like in Ultimate Custom Night, who would always like be like, "Look what time it is," and bring in a random character. They said that they hit the jackpot. Her design is adorable, and they had a voice actor. And then personal, dear God, what was I thinking? What a disaster. We created this database to log and document animatronic incidents, and this is the first thing I had to write about?
Playing performance incident recording 001.
Yikes.
Alright, kids, I have a big surprise to show you all today.
Oh no.
We here have
Redacted.
a brand new member of the gang we want to show you. She's eager to meet you all. Please put your hands together for the mischievous trickster.
Redacted.
I knew it.
Hi kids,
Redacted.
I've heard that you've all been excited to meet me. Here I am.
Henry, pull the curtain. Pull the bloody curtain.
Wow. Henry, pull the damn curtain. This was the worst idea ever. I hate the redacted voice though. It's kind of creepy. I'm worried that nothing's playing. Oh, there we go.
I don't know why I ever thought this was a good idea.
Same here.
I told you some of the parents are trying to sue us, yeah?
Over this animatronic? Bro.
Yup. Me.
Alright. Well, I've got schematics to burn and parents to apologize to. Make sure you bury that thing.
Huh. Yeah, looks like no wonder they decided to like not do any more human characters for a while. That's interesting. Purpose. This is way longer than I thought it would be. Oh wow, it's an actual schematic. Press space to skip. Oh, there's multiple images. So here we have this version of Lefty is first off really giant, like the hands. Just look at the claws. Oh, this is extension mode. That is really disturbing. I suppose it is meant to fit the puppet, right? But wow. So this is an extra revenue project. Characters from Subgeneration 4.5. These characters are the Misfits: Happy Frog, Pigpatch, Nedbear, Mr. Hippo, and Orville. So this is basically to do with the creation of the Misfit gang. They want some minor. They want to increase entertainment and increase profits. Huh. So they received concern. There are some concerned messages about this project. About won't these things be made? The mediocre melodies are made out of cheaper materials and have a much more basic endoskeleton. Why are they called mediocre? We don't want to pry too much attention away from the main gang. Wow. So not all the restaurants are getting these characters. They will be shipped from restaurant to restaurant as a surprise for guests. So I see. It's meant to be like a bonus thing. If one of them broke, there's a small manual describing how to fix them. What if I don't want to use them? Too bad. Use them or you're fired. Yep, that seems pretty much safe. And so this is with the recent closure of Generation 4 restaurants, we are instructing you to pack up any mediocre melodies you may have and ship them to the warehouse. And they decided to rent these characters out to customers and small businesses. So are they gonna be part of that initiative where they're sending animatronics home? So this is involving a Freddy unit, specifically 1993. A few days after the complete setup of Restaurant 256, there was an incident involving the performance of the Freddy Fazbear unit. The unit began to twitch and spasm and refused to respond to remote and manual commands. The manager decided to close the restaurant early, due to the main attraction needing repairs. So about around 8:30, the maintenance crew examined the unit. Jesse approached the unit, and then once that happened, the unit violently lunged towards her, attempting to harm her while spouting, "Criminal detected, criminal detected, criminal detected." Jesse was luckily able to pull out her Fazbear mobile controlled shock device, administer a control shock. She got the 2 to 3 weeks of therapy. Yeah, that's all they need. And upon examination, it was discovered that during the relocation process, someone had accidentally given the unit a facial recognition module that was commonly used on the Generation 3 units, causing the unit system to overload and mistake multiple customers and employees as criminals. Do not do it. If it happens, your pay is getting docked. Get out of here. Weirdo. This is from Circus Baby's Pizza World. Miscellaneous Unit Archive. So this is for miscellaneous animatronics. So AE-001 is an artificial intelligence, which was an experiment to see if a digital consciousness can transfer to different, I'm assuming, animatronics. Here we have AE-002, a large mesh of wires controlled by a basic AI. That's already making me think of Ennard. Spare animatronic eyes, joints, and various hands and feet shells. A small hand puppet. I already know this is Bon Bon. 3 pale dolls. Those are the mini-arenas. A small collection of 5 tiny pale dolls. Those are other mini-arenas. Another group of mini-arenas. Both groups passed. If there are too many spares, put them in storage with the others. AE-006, a small wooden puppet in a striped outfit. I don't know. Wait. And now we have Hell. This should be good. Giant mechanical monster spotted wandering the countryside, following a recent destructive forest fire. This is the being that got out of that sinkhole, I'm betting. The entity has been noted to have an interest in abandoned Fazbear Entertainment warehouses and facilities. Hostile and will attack anything, whether living or mechanical, that draws near to it. Estimated to have a height of around 15 feet, and the estimate rising with each... What? You're saying the thing is getting bigger? Despite the tremendous size, it has been known to escape observation and tracking on multiple occasions. Due to the creature's apparent knowledge of Fazbear Entertainment's tracking devices and observations, including its violent nature, the entity's intelligence is unknown. It has made no attempts to communicate. The only time it's doing so to threaten anything that comes near it to leave it alone. And now we have dinner time. And I'm already excited for the last one because it said yellow bear sighting. And you already know what that means. This is one of the Chica units from the This is involving an old broken down Chica model from the 80s. A Gen 2 unit. The unit had heavy damage around the body, most significant damage being the lack of hands and dislocation of the jaw. The unit was discovered in Utah in an old Freddy's location and was deemed salvageable and brought back for repairs, in which when he put his hand inside, the unit proceeded to bite down on the hand without issue. The unit was deemed unstable and controlled shocks were used to paralyze the unit. The mechanic was placed in the hospital under the alias of a heavy machine error. The unit involved is to remain powered off in storage, and mechanic recovered without incident. So note to self, make sure to send an email to repair crews, turning off the units before making repairs, as if that shouldn't be common sense. Why would you try repairing mechanical units when they're on? Yellow bear sightings. Oh, that should be good. Yellow bear sightings, unknown animatronic unit. Throughout the course of the company's lifespan, there has always been one lingering rumor, an odd entity that always seems to follow the Fazbear brand. Since 1985, employees and even customers have reported seeing a phantoms of sorts during business hours, described as a ghastly Fredbear on multiple occasions. Those that saw it reported a feeling of odd mix of nostalgia and queasiness. 2 years later, the sighting slowly increased, now described as a broken yellow Freddy, missing an ear and several chunks of its suit. Bizarrely, some reported seeing it as a giant head. Yep, that makes me think of FNAF 2. Hostile only when provoked via lights. Reported to cause weakness and severe sleep deprivation. Children started seeing the entity, even drawing it and showing the staff, asking what it is. From the years 1988 to 1992, deciding stayed constant, spread through multiple places, specifically warehouses and storage units. Employees reported sleep deprivation and violent thoughts after encountering the being. I think that's because at this point that's Cassidy that's possessing Golden Freddy, or rather it's Cassidy's energy definitely affecting them. Sightings stopped after it was spotted near the Gen 4 models of Freddy, Bonnie Cheek, and Foxy. It reportedly sat down next to the models, making strange, incoherent noises that were picked up by CCTV recordings. The employee on night watch stated that when they saw it, they inexplicably felt that the being was happy. It supposedly vanished shortly after. In 93, sightings resumed with worrying frequency as new locations opened. They reported seeing it taking the form as a carbon copy of the Gen 4 Freddy model but with yellow fur, and it appeared fully solid, taking as if it took a more definitive shape. Those that encountered it experienced fatigue, extreme sleep deprivation, uncharacteristic desires to hurt people, and rabid paranoia. So Cassidy, ever since 1985, as Cassidy it's like Cassidy was being more. The longer Cassidy went without peace, the more angry Cassidy got, and the more connected they got to the physical realm, really. And so it started affecting people much more. Throughout the next 20 years, sightings halt after one employee reports seeing the entity near the location of the safe room. No one's actually seen it since, though others have reported still feeling its presence when in the location. The entity is described as a tall and deformed abomination with stretched out blackened limbs, a thin contorted body, and sporting a wretched grin. These descriptions match no animatronic units in our database, so we assume the entity has chosen something beyond a mere yellow Freddy. Those that reported the sightings have also said that the animatronics have started malfunctioning, going haywire before shutting down. Unlike some phenomenon we've had to put up with, this one is scarily persistent, outright stalking the company and making itself visible to anyone, no matter their mental condition or age. That is... wow, that's so... Alright, well, I didn't think it'd take me 70 minutes to go through all that, so I'm gonna edit down heavily, try and keep it like 15-20 minutes really. Just like some of the coolest stuff I found from this security archive, and now I'm excited to see Fazbear Tycoon, like, just see what they do with it. Because I don't know what the game is gonna be like. That knocking's gotta stop, that's creepy. Regardless, you know what, we're ending here. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And if you did enjoy, hopefully I'll see you in the future at some point. And take care.